Okay, today I'm going to go over a few things in Metasploit that some of you probably don't know. Many of you may not know. You may not have messed around with Metasploit much, but it's a very useful tool, so you should definitely get used to using it. So I'm going to bring up a terminal window. My favorite place to be in the terminal. We're going to sudo up. Okay, so now we're root. Now I have a little script of my own that I wrote that basically copies the Metasploit startup script, so it checks to make sure the database is started and all that good stuff. It just makes it a little quicker and easier. And yes, that's not an error. That's actually one of the banners for Metasploit. I'll show you in a minute. It hasn't quite finished loading. My mistake. There we go. And there's a bunch of different banners. So anyway, here's our interface to Metasploit. Now, when I opened my terminal, just like when you open your terminal, it's going to open into your home directory. Metasploit is a framework that allows you to work within your system. So even though I'm at a Metasploit prompt, I'm going to type ls, and there's my home directory. So I can still work within it. For instance, if I need to run nmap during the process of an exploit, I can do nmap. Say I'm checking vulnerabilities on an IP. I'm just putting in any random numbers just to give you an idea. But whoop, it's supposed to be script, not scripts. My bad. Putting that extra S in there. But you see, nmap is running, but it's running within the framework of Metasploit. So I don't have to leave Metasploit to do what I need to do there. I'm going to stop that because it's a bogus IP anyway, and we don't want to randomly be scanning somebody's IP without their permission. Now, you can use Metasploit also to record your actions. So let's say you're setting up a listener. Now, the most widely used or most popular is just to do the generic listener, okay? Which would be exploit, use, exploit. And we're going to do multi and handler. That's a generic listener, okay? There you go. Now you see it set up a payload automatically, the generic payload for a reverse TCP connection using shell. Say I want to change that. So I'm going to say set payload. We're going to do this for an Android. Android interpreter. We'll do a interpreter. Look, if I can spell. Interpreter shell. Reverse TCP. Okay. So I'm setting the payload to that one. All right. Now let's do options to see what options we have. They're very basic on the listener, your port and your host. So let's set to lhost, and we're going to set it to my Ethernet cable automatically. Okay, which is going to grab my internal IP address. Now, a word on this. If you're doing this through a router, most of us use routers for our home networks. You're going to set this to your home, your internal IP address. On your router, you need to forward this type of traffic to go directly to your internal IP address. So your router will negotiate where that traffic goes to. Okay, does that make sense? Alright, and then we're going to set L port, our local port, and it's already set to 444, but if we were setting it to something different, let's say 3131. Okay, now do options again, and you see it has the information that we put in there. And I I know I'm going to get notes after this. Oh, you're showing your internal. My internal IP isn't going to matter to you. You can't attack me through my internal IP, and I change that regularly. So that stays dynamic. So no big deal. Okay. But this is ready to go now. So all I have to do is go hit use or run. Excuse me, and it will run. But let's say I want to copy this for future use. It just so happens that Metasploit gives me the option to do that. Okay, so I'm going to do make RC. Now I'm going to do the, what do I want to name it? Android -listen.rc. Okay, just think of RC as recording. Okay, so then I hit enter. And now it just took all those commands that I just did and put them into a file, like a macro. So the next time I want to run it, I can run resource android -listen.rc, and it will actually do all those commands without me typing that stuff in of what I just did. Okay, so that's just a little bit about Metasploit. Now I'm going to back out of this. If I wanted to do it, like I was telling you, I'd hit run, and it will set up the listener. There you go. So you started TCP handler. I'm going to cancel that listener. If I want to back out of that exploit, I hit back. I'm back to the main menu. Now if I do ls, in there will be my listener that I created. So wherever you're sitting at, you'll see it right here, is where it's going to be. Now I have a little folder made for that, meta RC. So I would go cd meta, tab to autocomplete, and then I'm in meta RC. So I could actually create all my listeners, recorded listeners and stuff here that I use in Metasploit. So that I know automatically I can go to that folder and I have all of them handy. Okay. So that's our little short tutorial for today. We'll do more later on Metasploit. We're going to leave it now. Hit exit, exit, and exit. Alright guys, have a good day.